Good morning and welcome to Self-Care Sunday, where we explore what it means to fill your own cup. Say hello in the chat so that I know you're here. Hashtag replay if you're watching the replay. And very first off, I want to say happy Thanksgiving to all of our Canadian peeps today. And so today, on this day of thanks, I thought it would be fitting to talk about the pursuit of happiness. Because isn't that the ultimate dream for so many of us, to be happy? Because that's been my dream all along, ever since I was a kid. But I went about it the wrong way for most of my life. In my teens and 20s, I kind of saw happiness as like an end goal. And reflecting back, I believed that happiness would be the result of my hard work. So I thought that by working hard in school, I was pursuing happiness. And in seeking that promotion, I was working towards happiness. I honestly believed that getting married and having kids was going to bring me happiness. And of course, buying that beautiful home in just the right neighborhood is what would make me happy. Because I remember looking at all of the houses, all of the pretty houses, and thinking those people in those houses must be happy. I was trying to build myself a happy life. I had achieved so many things. I had worked so dang hard, but I was not happy. Actually, I was pretty miserable for a really, really long time. And about 10 years ago now, I was just done. I was done with being miserable. Even though life was hard and my marriage was on the rocks and I felt like I was failing as a parent, I made the decision to choose happiness. So have you ever seen sort of those motivational statements that encourages you to choose happiness? I saw them. I bought into them. I was determined to make that shift. I was so determined that I even got a tattoo to remind me of my commitment. Yes, I'm in it. I'm all in. But what was I supposed to do? Was I supposed to just like paste on a smile and like fake it till I make it? Was I supposed to just like let everything roll off of me? Like I wasn't bothered by it. Like everything is okay. It's fine. Is that how you choose happiness? Because I tried those things for several years, actually. And it just left me feeling shallow and hollow and fake. So I now know that in my 20s, when I was working so hard, I was chasing happiness. And in my 30s, when I was doing all of those, it's fine, everything's fine, I was forcing happiness. And it wasn't until my 40s that I finally started figuring out how to bring more happiness into my life. And I started figuring out what it actually means to choose happiness. And so today I am sharing 3 secrets to choosing happiness that I wish I had known 20 years ago. And hopefully it's going to save you some of the grief that I endured along my journey. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. I have an image for you. Here we go. Okay, you see the image? Okay, this is going to be the image for all of the things that I talk about today. So secret number 1, trick number 1 to choosing happiness, grab the good. So take a look at this image. Imagine that for this step, this image represents your day. And the different colors represent all the things that you encounter during your day, when some are good, some are bad, lots are in between, things are just kind of coming at you, and that is life. But remember what your mind wants for you. It wants solely to keep you safe. It does not care about happy So what your mind naturally wants to do is to focus on the negative stuff, because focus on these like potential dangers, or what it sees as potential dangers, is what has kept us safe as a species for millions and millions of years. These can be physical dangers, like that terrible driver that cut you off. You focus on that. Or social dangers, like that coworker who keeps trying to like throw you under the bus, you know, or emotional dangers, like your kid who has a bully at school and you are so worried about them and your mind wants to focus on it. And once your mind identifies these dangers, it wants to keep you safe from it. And so it's going to keep thinking about it, thinking about different actions or outcomes or solutions. Like maybe you had a disagreement with your spouse or a challenge with your child, or maybe you just hate your job. And your mind is going to want to chew on that. So imagine these challenges are the blue parts of your image. Your life is full of all of these colors. But your mind is focusing only on the blue ones. And it starts to feel like your life is all blue, because it's all your mind is seeing. And for a long time, I had convinced myself that if I just did the thing, like if I just got the promotion or found the right hobby, whatever, that a pink, happy splotch would be added into my life. But the excitement faded so fast. And so quickly, I was back to all blue. And that made me feel like nothing is working and I'm never going to be happy. But I realize now that it's because my mind was only ever trained to see blue. Okay. So now we are going to retrain our brain to see all of the other colors, starting just 5 seconds at a time. The trick is to find those moments when things aren't going wrong. This doesn't have to be blissful moments. They just have to be not going wrong. And we're not looking for hours, not whole days or weeks or months, just tiny little moments to start with. One easy one for me that got me started was in the shower, because usually when I'm in the shower, things are pretty okay. So can we get creative in finding the good? So I live with 5 boys and a dog. And one good thing in the shower is nice smells. Like I actually go out of my way to find products that smell amazing, so I can take my 5 seconds to breathe in that smell of my shampoo as I'm washing my hair. So another moment, tiny moment in my day, is my coffee. I love my coffee. So I can take a few seconds to savor the awesomeness of the warm and sweet caffeinated goodness in the morning. Okay. Another example, on my commute to work, I could go into the blue and stress out about all the things that I have to do when I get to work, or how frustrating traffic is, or I can choose to take that moment to add another color. I can take that moment to listen to a scandalously sexy audiobook or an interesting podcast, and I can appreciate having the time and the space to enjoy that. So in those moments, I am consciously focusing on all of the other colors that are always there. This mix of colors is always there, but now I'm training my brain to see them. And the great thing is that your mind is a brilliant machine meant to learn. And so with just this little conscious effort, your mind starts building new neural pathways, and it becomes easier and easier to see all of the colors. you start getting used to seeing them and spotting them and savoring those happy moments in your day. The blue is still there. It's always going to be there, but it's not the only thing that your mind can see anymore. And so your life becomes just a little bit more balanced. Okay. So that is your first step. Grab the good. And that brings us to our second step, which is savor your success. And this was a very interesting one for me because for a long time, I felt like my problems were what was getting in the way of my happiness. And if I could just get rid of my problems, then I would be happy. And so in our diagram, our visual with all the splotches, all I could see was the problem splotches. That's what my mind wanted to focus on. And that left me searching. I wanted to choose happiness. I wanted to find happiness. So I was trying to find the right parenting solutions or marriage secrets or even the right job that would just solve my problem and allow me to be happy. But as soon as I would solve one problem, another one was right there that needed solving. Like, we finally got the potty training down, woo! But now my child is biting, dang. You know what I mean? Like, there is always another problem to solve. And it seems like there's just no peace, no opportunity for happiness. How is it going to fit that in between all of my problems? But in my journey to choose happiness, I ended up picking a book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. And he said something along the lines of, happiness is not an absence of problems. Happiness is found in solving our problems. And that made me think, what? And when I thought about it, I was like, yeah, he's right. I do get a little high from solving a problem, but it's so short-lived. And why is that? Well, because my mind moves quickly to the next problem. So thinking about the problems in a different way was a complete game changer for me because it led me to ask myself, how can I get more happiness from solving problems? Because I am a great problem solver. I literally solve problems all day long. So instead of that getting in the way of my happiness, I could make this the source of my happiness. Like, mind blown. So now, because I have learned this and chewed on this for the last couple of years, I consciously take a moment to bask in the afterglow of my epic problem-solving skills, to savor my success. Every time I cross something off my to-do list, I give myself like a pat on the back and some encouraging words like, damn girl, you've been putting in a lot of effort in this for a long time. You've been putting this off and now you have tackled it like a boss. And I might even do like a little celebratory dance if I'm feeling it. Okay, and this can be the tiniest little problem solving. Like if I am tired and I go to bed early, I am going to celebrate my problem solving because I solved that problem. Like, and I'm going to give myself some kind words like, yes, you are taking care of you, my friend. Wouldn't you give yourself what you need? I know it sounds cheesy, but yes, I do say that inside my head. And if I figure out some tech solution, I could easily focus on how frustrating that was because tech frustrations just make me crazy. And they're like super big time wasters and it's so frustrating. But no. I am not going to chew on that. I am not going to focus on that splotch of color. I am choosing instead to celebrate my tenacity and my genius at figuring it out. I might say to myself, you are a problem-solving genius. So take that time to savor your success. Well done, girl. Okay. So number one, grab the good. Number two, Savor your success. And the last one, which was completely counterintuitive to me, is befriend your feelings. It is impossible to be happy all of the time. But for some reason, I had made that my goal, and it felt like I was failing if I wasn't blissfully happy all the time. So in our image with all the splotches, our feelings are those colors now. They come in all of the colors. But I was consciously ignoring all of the other ones because I only wanted to ever feel happy. And so that's why it was kind of counterintuitive. Like, how can I be more happy if I'm dividing my attention between all of these colors and all of these feelings? Okay, so think about this. Think about this. Think about when you were a child and you were upset. Like maybe you scraped your knee or someone was mean to you. What helped you move through that emotion faster? Think about if your caregiver just told you to suck it up and stop crying. What happens in your body with that message? Versus if they empathized and cuddled you and allowed you to just be sad for a little while. I know that for me, if I tried to suck it up, which I did quite often, and I was told quite often, I held on to that sadness. I pushed it down inside of me. I took it with me for the rest of my day, or maybe even the rest of my life. And probably some of that sadness turned into resentment and anger later in my life. But if I got a little love, I could move quickly from a place of sadness and hurt into one where I felt pretty okay. And so befriending our feelings helps us to move faster back into happiness. Okay, so how do we do that for ourselves now? How can we be that loving caregiver to ourselves when we need it? Think about, what if we could say to ourselves, I hear you, honey. I see you. I love you. I honor you. So today, this is not a lesson on how to do this, how to befriend our feelings. This takes a few months in my Bridge to Your Best Life program. But the important takeaway here is that our goal is not to shove away all of our other emotions in favor of happiness. We are not doing that. It's all good lie, because that is just going to complicate our image of the splotches with like so many more splotches. Like, it's going to make us resentful and angry in the long run, and it's going to stuff us full of all of these feelings. We don't want that. So our goal is to just honor all of our feelings, including happiness, because that's how we end up feeling relaxed and loved and accepted. And I know this is hard, because for many of us, we have been shoving down our feelings for like decades now, leaving us with an image that is so covered in splotches that we can't even distinguish the colors. And that can be hugely overwhelming. But there is hope, my friend. You can unpack this, so you don't have to hold on to it anymore. You don't have to waste your energy holding it in anymore. So if the thought of feeling anything, any of those feelings, any of those splotches feels completely overwhelming, and you're worried that all of those splotches are going to come up at the same time, please send me a DM, and I'm going to help you get started on your life-changing journey. Okay? We can do a 30-minute session. I can coach you through it, and you can get started right now. Okay. So in chasing happiness, I was trying to create a life where all of the splotches on my canvas were one color, the color of happiness. I wanted to change all of the blues that I was seeing, all of the problems that I was seeing, into the color of happiness and ease and bliss. That is not a realistic goal. That's not how life is. So I'm never going to be able to achieve that. So the trick to shifting from chasing to embracing happiness is to allow yourself to see and appreciate all of the beautiful colors. That is life. All of the colors of life, good and bad. Because sometimes the bad stuff helps us to appreciate the good stuff. And so training your mind to grab the good and see the good things as well as the bad. Savoring your success and just being proud of yourself for all of the amazing things that you do every single day. And befriending your feelings, because each feeling is a message from your soul telling you something important. So choosing happiness is never one big choice. It's a continuous series of tiny choices throughout your day that bring you joy. And in the long term, this is actually going to start rewiring your brain so it becomes easier and easier to let in the joy until you find yourself living your beautiful life your way. You have the power to choose, my friend. You have the power to change your brain and your perspective, and therefore your life. Happiness is not an end destination. It is a daily practice. I didn't understand that for a really long time. And I hope that this helps you get started with your daily practice of choosing and embracing happiness, and that this adds just a little bit more color to your day. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, my friend. You are doing an amazing job. Bye.
Join me in my Blissfully Busy Facebook group to see if we can figure out how to dodge burnout together.